Remember struggling teenagers clashing with a dedicated teacher? To Sir with Love wasn't your typical classroom drama. It had music, social issues, and Sidney Poitier in a groundbreaking role. This 1967 film resonated with audiences for its social commentary and catchy theme song by Lulu. But over 50 years later, what has become of the stars who brought this story to life? Today, we revisit the cast of To Sir with Love, Then and Now. Join us as we explore their careers and the enduring legacy of this classic film. Hit like and subscribe for more blasts from the past. Number 1. Sidney Poitier as Mark Thackeray. Mark's a teacher you won't forget. Stoic, poised, and honest. He commands respect. But don't mistake his calm demeanor for weakness. Push him too far, and he can unleash a fury as fierce as a storm. Fight for what you believe in, he says, but make sure you're right. Mark's a natural leader, a true educator at heart. His current class? A real handful, hooligans who seem to have given up on learning decency or anything else. Sunglasses indoors, sanitary towel fires, just another day for Mark. But while they might have thrown in the towel, Mark hasn't. He's determined to turn these students around, one lesson and maybe a few stern lectures at a time. As elegant and quietly commanding a personality as ever graced motion pictures, Sidney Poitier came to the fore of American culture in the 1950s and 1960s as a fine actor and as an ambassador of America's long-delayed civil rights movement. While other actors and actresses of color made impact before and after him, Poitier, in his time, leveraged his mesmerizing screen presence into a culture-changing force. His very first film set off a chain of events that freed his native Bahamas of British colonial rule, and from there he not only became the first Black Best Actor Oscar winner for Lilies of the Field, but was the #1 box office draw in 1967 in a triumvirate of movies. In the Heat of the Night, To Sir with Love, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? The regal Poitier's influence as an admirable role model of any color could not be underestimated. As he phased himself out of entertainment, his worldwide prestige would allow his native Bahamas to call on him to take on the new role of diplomat and representative to the United Nations. Simply put, Sidney Poitier became a beloved national treasure and symbol of a struggle almost as old as the United States itself. Mark Thackeray was played by Sidney Poitier when he was 53 years. Sadly, on January 6, 2022, Poitier died at his home in Beverly Hills, California, at the age of 94. According to a copy of his death certificate obtained by TMZ, the cause of death was cardiopulmonary failure, with Alzheimer's disease and prostate cancer listed as underlying causes. Number 2. Judy Geeson as Pamela Dare. Pamela knows what it's like to live in two different worlds. She grew up in a working-class neighborhood, but now she goes to a more fancy school. She picks up on all the little social cues and how people from different backgrounds act. She gets that education can make a big difference in your life. Pamela can really talk. She can explain things clearly and precisely, even if they're complicated. Her classmates and even her teacher, Mr. Thackeray, are impressed by how well she can express herself. Even though Pamela seems confident, she actually cares a lot about other people. The way she interacts with her classmates and Mr. Thackeray shows that she's empathetic and compassionate. Frequently called fresh-faced during her ingenue period, and still sweet-smiled in middle age, Judy Geeson made her stage debut at age 9 and began appearing on British TV by age 12. Her screen debut as Pamela Dare, a thoughtful and awakening schoolgirl with a crush on Sidney Poitier's upright school teacher, in To Sir with Love, brought her notice and acclaim. She went on to play provocative leads in a number of British and other films, including Prudence and the Pill, Brannigan, the thriller Dominique, and Horror Planet. She seemed to have a predilection for screen pregnancies. In Prudence and the Pill, she played David Niven's sexually active niece, who finds herself with child, while in Horror Planet, she was impregnated by a monster and becomes a killer. Geeson spent much of the 80s concentrating on stage and film roles. She returned to features in 1991 to co-star in Young Goodman Brown, based on a short story by Nathaniel Hawthorne, but it went unreleased for almost 6 years. Pamela Dare was played by Judy Geeson when she was 29 years old, and now she is 75 years old. Number 3. Christian Roberts as Denham. Like most of the guys in Mr. Braithwaite's class, Denham started off rude and disrespectful. Let's just say manners weren't his strong suit. He was kind of a hothead, too. But Mr. Braithwaite, patient as ever, wouldn't give up on him. And guess what? It worked. Braithwaite's belief in Denham helped him transform into a mature young man. Respect? Responsibility? Denham got it all now. Remember how he hosted that student council meeting? He even called the senior girls Miss, a sign of a true gentleman. In 1944, Christian Roberts burst onto the scene, born in Southmoor, England. He wasn't just another schoolboy, though. Cranleigh School and the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art honed his talent, and by 1967, he was making his debut in To Sir with Love, alongside Sidney Poitier. Awards followed, but Roberts wasn't one for labels. He crisscrossed stages from Redgrave Theatre to Theatre Royal York, captivating audiences with his range. But wait, there's more. In 1980, Roberts took a daring turn, joining his family's dairy business and even directing the Theatre Royal Windsor. But the call of the spotlight proved too strong. By 1988, he was back, not just acting, but producing his own plays in London's West End, even winning a Laurence Olivier Award. The Caribbean beckoned in 1995, and Roberts, ever the adventurer, traded the stage for the sandy shores of Barbados. There he runs the famed Lone Star restaurant and hotel, but don't be fooled by the tropical paradise. This acting itch hasn't been scratched yet. He's been filming, flexing his producing muscles, and even working on award-winning Caribbean films. It's clear Christian Roberts is a force to be reckoned with, both on and off the stage. Denham was played by Christian Roberts when he was 23 years old. Sadly, Roberts died of cancer on 26 December 2022 at the age of 78. Number 4. Susie Kendall as Gillian Blanchard. Gillian, one of the teachers, is always up for going on field trips with the class. You can tell she really cares about her students and wants them to learn. Over time, she and Ricky, the main character, become good friends. That friendship eventually turns into something more, and they start dating. Things aren't easy for them, though. Back then in Britain, people weren't always cool with couples from different races. Gillian and Ricky have to deal with a lot of negativity because of their relationship. A doe-eyed, honey-blonde actress of extraordinary beauty, Susie Kendall was one of the most popular British actresses of the 1960s. Yet she never really sought the spotlight and accepted fame only reluctantly. Modeling became a side hustle, a way to make some extra cash and maybe even get some eyes on her fashion ideas. So Susie Kendall was born, and whoops, turns out everyone loved her. The 60s were wild, and lines between careers were blurring. Singers were becoming actors, and Susie, despite never taking an acting class in her life, found herself in movies. Around this time, love struck. Dudley Moore, a super talented but kind of insecure comedian, became her co-star and BFF. They fell for each other, got married, and at his suggestion, she took on a role as a WWI femme fatale in Fräulein Doctor. Reviews were all over the place, but things got awesome again with The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. This creepy thriller made the director a horror legend and turned Susie into a target for a killer. Seriously intense stuff. But behind the screams and fame, Susie just wanted to be a mom. She craved a family, but Dudley's career was exploding worldwide. The timing wasn't right, and being apart all the time took its toll. They ended up getting a divorce, but in a super chill way, and stayed friends. Dudley even taught the piano to Susie's kid from her later marriage. How cool is that? Susie kept acting throughout the 70s, usually playing the scaredy cat heroine in horror movies that weren't always, well, good. The genre just wasn't her thing. Disillusioned, she pieced out of the spotlight and focused on her family and living a normal life. There was a brief public appearance in 2002 to honor her ex, Dudley, who was still friends with both her and her current husband. Gillian Blanchard was played by Susie Kendall when she was 30 years old, and now she is 87 years old. Number 5. Jeffrey Balen as Theo Weston. Theo Weston, the teacher played by Jeffrey Balen, is a real class act. He's all about manners and proper behavior, a real breath of fresh air. More than just that, though, he's a great teacher who really cares about his students and helps them grow. He might not be loud or flashy, but he leaves a positive mark on everyone around him with his kindness and good advice. Forget the stereotypical drama student path. Jeffrey Balen, a true English legend, defied expectations at every turn. This wasn't some starry-eyed youth chasing the spotlight. Born in Leeds, young Jeffrey set his sights on architecture, enrolling at Hull College. But World War II intervened, and Balen answered the call, serving bravely in the Royal Air Force. Only after the war's chaos subsided did the acting bug finally bite. Balen enrolled at the prestigious Old Vic Theatre School, honing his craft. By the late 40s, his booming voice and captivating presence were gracing the London stage. But the silver screen beckoned, and by the early 50s, Balen was making his mark in film and television. The mid-50s saw him flitting between guest spots on British shows and small film roles. Then came the 60s, Balen's golden decade. He shared the screen with legends in King Rat, 1965, and To Sir with Love. But the role that truly cemented his place in pop culture was the quirky, gadget-wielding Q in the outlandish spy spoof Casino Royale. For the next few decades, Balen remained a familiar face, gracing both films and TV with his talent. The 2000s, however, saw him slowly step back. His final screen appearance was a poignant one, the 2010 romantic drama Love Loss. Then, with a career spanning over 6 decades, Balen bowed out, leaving behind a legacy of quirky characters, memorable performances, and a testament to the power of a late-blooming passion. Theo Weston's was played by Jeffrey Balen when he was 43 years old. Sadly, Balen died on 10 May 2017, aged 93, from undisclosed causes. He was predeceased by his partner, actor Alan Rowe, who died in 2000. Number 6. Faith Brook as Grace Evans. Grace Evans is another teacher at North Key Secondary, and let me tell you, those kids can be a handful. But Grace takes it all in stride. She stays calm even when things get crazy, and that helps keep the classroom chill. You can tell she really cares about her students. She's patient with them and always tries to understand where they're coming from. For decades, Faith Brook graced the silver screen, captivating audiences with her talent. Her career stretched from the golden age of Hollywood to the 1990s, leaving a trail of memorable characters in her wake. Early on, Brook tackled diverse roles. She swung through the jungle in The Jungle Book, 1942, then embodied a suspect in Finger of Guilt, 1956, before diving into the gritty world of crime in Across the Bridge, 1958, alongside Rod Steiger. Thrillers were her forte. She chased shadows with Richard Todd in Chase a Crooked Shadow, and unraveled mysteries alongside Kenneth More in The 39 Steps. Even war films weren't off limits, as she joined Kirk Douglas in The Heroes of Telemark. Brook's versatility continued into the late 60s and beyond. She brought a touch of humor to The Smashing Bird I Used to Know and embarked on high-seas adventures in The Sea Wolves with Gregory Peck. The 80s saw her team up with Roger Moore in the action-packed F. Oaks, 1980, and match-wits with Donald Sutherland in the gripping spy thriller Eye of the Needle. She even brought Shakespeare to life in the television special Hamlet. Capping off her impressive career, Brook graced the screen one last time in Vanessa Redgrave's adaptation of Mrs. Dalloway. Faith Brook's legacy is one of dedication and range. She leaves behind a filmography that entertains and a testament to a long and successful career. Grace Evans was played by Kathy Najimy when she was 45 years old. Sadly, she of natural cause died on 11 March 2012 in London, England, UK. Number 7. Patricia Routledge as Clinty Clintridge. Clinty Clintridge, played by the amazing Patricia Routledge, is one of the teachers who holds things down at North Key Secondary. This school's no walk in the park, but Clinty takes her job seriously. Shaping young minds, that's her mission. Don't get it twisted, though. Clinty's not afraid to lay down the law when needed. Discipline is important, especially with this bunch. But here's the thing. Under that tough exterior, Clinty has a heart of gold. She genuinely cares about these students and wants them to succeed. Teaching in an inner-city school isn't easy. Clinty knows many of her students come from tough backgrounds and can be a handful. But she navigates the rough waters with a steady hand, always looking out for their best interests. Patricia Routledge, a British actress, carved out a nice film career in Hollywood, especially during the 1960s. She wasn't afraid to show her range, appearing in both dramatic and comedic roles. Moviegoers might recall her opposite Sidney Poitier in the heartwarming To Sir with Love, or tickled pink by her performance in the Dudley Moore comedy 30 is a Dangerous Age, Cynthia. She also brought her talents to dramas like Pretty Polly with Hayley Mills and wacky comedies like The Bliss of Mrs. Blossom with Shirley MacLaine. Her acting wasn't limited to the big screen, though. Later on, she did a variety of TV movies and specials. She even lent her voice to bring cartoon characters to life. You might have caught her in detective-themed TV movies like Hetty Wainthropp Investigates, or even brightened your holiday season with a Christmas special appearance. She kept busy on the small screen well into the late 1990s, with her last acting credit being in a TV movie in 2001. Clinty Clintridge was played by Patricia Routledge when she was 38 years old, and now she is 95 years old. Number 8. Christopher Chittle as Potter Potter's one of those students who marches to the beat of his own drum. In Mr. Thackeray's class, he's not afraid to challenge the rules, especially when it comes to calling the girls Miss. "We already know them," he says bluntly. No sugarcoating for Potter. But here's the thing. Even though he questions things, Potter isn't disrespectful. He just doesn't see the point of formalities when they already know the girls. But deep down, he recognizes that they deserve the title Miss. So while he stands up for his peers, he does it in a way that's not rude. Christopher's dreams of setting sail with the Navy were abruptly diverted at the tender age of 15. A talent scout spotted his potential, and instead of salty seas, he found himself on the prestigious stage of the National Theater. His career blossomed further with a role in the film To Sir with Love. Just as his star was on the rise, however, a misstep behind the wheel landed him with a driving ban that stretched for a daunting 3.5 years, a break from the road that would extend far beyond that, lasting a total of 17 years. But fate, it seems, wasn't done with Christopher yet. While filming Zulu Dawn on location, he met his future wife, Caroline, who was working as an extra. Back in England, they embarked on a new adventure together, running a shop in Devon for a time. The call of the stage proved too strong, though, and Christopher returned to the spotlight in Peter O'Toole's production of Macbeth. This performance led him to a role on the television series Emmerdale, initially intended to be a brief 6-week stint. However, that short engagement turned into a long-term commitment, and Emmerdale has become his television home ever since. Now settled in Nottinghamshire with his wife, Caroline, their son, Ben, born 1982, and daughter, Rebecca, born 1984, Christopher's life has taken a much different course than he initially charted. But it seems fate had a surprising and fulfilling story in mind for him after all. Potter was played by Christopher Chittle when he was 29 years old, and now he is 76 years old. Number 9. Edward Burnham as Florian Sharpdresser? Check. Calm under pressure? Absolutely. Mr. Florian embodies gentlemanly masculinity at North Key Secondary School. His impeccably tailored suits reflect his attention to detail and pride. But Mr. Florian's true passion lies in his students. He's a dedicated educator, committed to shaping their lives. Even in tense situations, Mr. Florian's composure never wavers, a testament to his wisdom and experience. As a black man in a racially charged environment, he navigates prejudice with resilience and unwavering determination to make a positive impact. Mr. Florian is a role model who inspires both students and viewers alike. Christopher Burnham's career path took some unexpected turns. Initially drawn to the sea, his dreams of joining the Navy were diverted at 15 when a talent scout identified his potential. The National Theater became his new destination, and his acting career flourished with a role in the acclaimed film To Sir with Love, 1967. However, a driving infraction resulted in a lengthy driving ban, forcing him to temporarily step away from the road. While filming Zulu Dawn on location, fate intervened once more. He met his future wife, Caroline, and upon returning to England, they embarked on a joint venture running a shop in Devon. The allure of the stage proved irresistible, though, and Christopher returned to the spotlight in Peter O'Toole's production of Macbeth. This performance led him to a long-term role on the television series Emmerdale, solidifying his presence on the small screen. Christopher's influence extended beyond his own acting career. He returned to his alma mater, the prestigious Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA, to impart his knowledge and experience. His impressive roster of students included renowned actors like Peter O'Toole, Cian Phillips, Albert Finney, Anne Reid, and Alan Bates. This revised version clarifies the identity of Christopher Burnham and separates his acting career from his teaching experience at RADA. Florian was played by Edward Burnham when he was 51 years old. Sadly, Burnham died aged 98 on 30 June 2015 at his home in England, number 10. Rita Webb, as Mrs. Joseph's, the one who keeps the Students' Council ship afloat. During report presentations, she's the one juggling tasks and wrangling the program into a smooth flow, all while chilling next to Mr. Florian on stage. No sweat, no fuss, just pure get-it-done energy. Sure, she teaches, but Mrs. Joseph brings more than just grades to the table. Whether it's a listening ear for a student having a rough time or a helping hand for a colleague swamped with paperwork, she's always got your back. Mrs. Joseph doesn't need to yell to be heard. She commands respect with a steady hand and a calm demeanor. Students and staff alike know she's fair, firm, and always willing to listen. Hailing from Willesden, England, Hattie Jacques carved a niche for herself in British comedy. Standing under 5 feet tall, she possessed a booming voice and fiery red hair, a combination that often landed her roles as boisterous characters like blousy mothers-in-law or quintessential Cockney figures. Her most recognizable work came alongside Benny Hill on his long-running Thames television series, where she played the comedic foil, Stooge. Jacques' talents extended beyond television. In 1958, she collaborated with a distinguished cast for a Kedman audio recording. Throughout the 1960s, she graced the screens with appearances alongside comedic giants like Billy Cotton, Arthur Haynes, and Spike Milligan. Her diverse television credits encompassed shows like Dixon of Dock Green, Till Death Us Do Part, and even a sci-fi twist in Space 1999. Film audiences also enjoyed Jacques' comedic presence. She played supporting roles in renowned films, including To Sir with Love, Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy, and Come Play With Me. Mrs. Joseph was played by Rita Webb when she was 63 years old. Sadly, Webb died in 1981, aged 77 from cancer. Her funeral was held at West London Crematorium, and a memorial service took place at St. Paul's Church, Covent Garden. Number 12. Mary Ann Stone as Gert might not be the star of the show, but she's definitely a key player in the background. Her quick appearances in Mark Thackeray's class add a splash of realness to the school environment. She's a living reminder of all the different kinds of students that make up the school. Even though we don't get a whole lot of Gert's backstory, the way she looks and reacts tells us a mini-story all on its own. Maybe she's the super observant type, soaking it all in as she navigates the ups and downs of school life. A familiar face to British audiences for 4 decades, Mary Ann Stone was a prolific character actress who left her mark on film, stage, and television. Known for her sharp wit and bawdy humor, she brought life to a wide range of working-class women, from sassy waitresses and barmaids to harried clerks and formidable landladies. Born in London in 1922, Stone's initial path leaned towards music, but her talent soon gravitated towards the stage. After graduating from drama school, she honed her craft with early jobs as a secretary and assistant manager. In 1945, at the age of 23, she made her West End debut, showcasing her comedic talents that would become her signature. Her stage work garnered critical acclaim, culminating in a prestigious Gertrude Lawrence Award for character acting. Stone's film career blossomed after World War II, though it began with a string of minor roles. Fate intervened on the set of Escape Dangerous, where she met her future husband, actor and producer Peter Noble. They married the same year and went on to have 2 daughters. While Stone never quite achieved leading lady status, her dedication to her craft secured her a place in hundreds of films, primarily B-movies. She found some recognition in films by the Bolting brothers, known for their sharp social comedies, and became a regular, albeit in minor roles, in the beloved Carry On series, a mainstay of British slapstick humor. Arguably, her most substantial film role came in the controversial Stanley Kubrick film Lolita. Stone landed the part of Vivian Darkbloom, co-writer in the scandalous story. It was a testament to her versatility that she could seamlessly transition from bawdy comedic characters to a more nuanced, dramatic role. She continued to act in films throughout the 1970s and 80s, often returning to her comedic roots in films like Au Pair Girls and Bless This House. Television viewers were also treated to Stone's talents in various productions, including the colorful Eccentricities of a Nightingale and the miniseries A Man Called Intrepid. Her husband Peter sadly predeceased her in 1997, and she passed away in 2009 at the age of 87. One final heartwarming touch to her career. Her daughter, Cara Noble, appeared alongside her in the film Funny Money, a testament to the enduring legacy of this ubiquitous character actress. Gert was played by Mary Ann Stone when she was 45 years old. Sadly, Stone died of natural cause on 21 December 2009 at the age of 87. Number 13. Michael Des Barres as Williams is that spark in Mr. Thackeray's class, the one who keeps things interesting. He's not the main character, but he's definitely there to remind everyone that teenagers are a whole mix of rebellion and figuring it out. Like any teenager, Williams is wrestling with who he is, what his friends think, and what society expects of him. The way he interacts with Mr. Thackeray and his classmates shows just how confusing those teenage years can be. Michael Des Barres is a European marquis, raised in England and living in Los Angeles. As the host of Little Steven's Underground Garage on Sirius XM Radio Channel 21, he is heard by more than 6 million listeners, 5 days a week, 5 a.m., 8 a.m., and 9 p.m. Midnight PT. He has appeared in over 150 hours of American television and more than 40 feature films, and has sold over 7 million albums as both a recording artist and songwriter. Over the past 5 decades, Michael has appeared in numerous feature films such as To Sir with Love, with Sidney Poitier, Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood, The Man from Elysian Fields with Mick Jagger, and Diary of a Sex Addict with Rosanna Arquette, as well as countless television shows such as NCIS, Bones, CSI, Seinfeld, Frasier, Roseanne, and Melrose Place, and as Nicholas Hellman, former mentor to infamous assassin Murdoch, on MacGyver. Recently, Michael narrated the one-night-only performance of Frank Zappa's legendary 200 Motels with the LA Philharmonic, released a live follow-up to his 2012 album Carnaby Street called Hot and Sticky, and co-starred alongside Gene Simmons of Kiss on an episode of CSI Las Vegas. His latest album, The Key to the Universe, was released in 2015 on FOD Records and was produced by Bob Rose. Williams was played by Michael Des Barres when he was 19 years old, and now he is 76 years old. He really loved the cast of the To Sir with Love. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video.